Hey everyone, Nubkeks here. Last week I did a raid leader review for our first, I think it was our first heroic Sire Denathrius kill. Well, we got back finally after Christmas break to Mythic this week, and we did kill Huntsman Altimor. I had the kill video itself, the raw video, up on the channel publicly. If you want to go check out just the raw video, you can. But in this one, I'm going to talk you guys through it, talk about the strategy, why we're doing things, and what went wrong. Because this was not a very clean kill. This was not well played on a number of different fronts. So I'll kind of talk you through that in what is probably going to be one of my harshest videos to date. So let's go. Let's go. Okay. Actually, you know what? The first thing that I should do actually is talk about the markers. Let's actually explain the markers first and foremost. So the idea of this boss, in fact, I'll let it play through, but I'll mute the video. The idea of this boss is that a lot of the damage is coming from this spread shot ability, where he's going to target a random person and he's going to fire a cone of arrows towards them. So the idea is that you always tank the boss consistently on a marker like Skull, and that way these spread shots, you spread the raid around Skull, just evenly spread. The spread shot's only ever going to hit a few people at a time. It's never going to hit that many people, so it's going to be very, very chill. It's going to be easy to handle it. This first dog, this is what he does. He'll do this lunge to drop it on people. Again, because everyone is stacked up, it's really easy. I mean, you could even just stand and drop it on range. You can drop it on melee. You can do whatever you want. And then the first set of Sin Seekers. This is the phase 1 Sin Seekers. You want to only get one set of these. And then you want to kill the first dog before the second set of Sin Seekers comes out, which is here like 46 seconds. That's like the DPS check you're looking to beat. Should be very easy unless you're in very bad gear. But yeah, that's the DPS check you're looking to beat. And then you can set up your healing cooldowns appropriately, essentially following that. But yeah, this first set of Sin Seekers, you have to soak it with, 2 to 3 extra people to mitigate the damage that is being done by the Sin Seeker. That's the mythic only mechanic. The Sin Seeker is going to share damage for the whole fight. You see, I'm just not going to stand in this bleed. They're going to take it just fine. There's no reason to get the bleed on more people. So I'm going to step to the side right there. And yeah, you can see probably maybe a few too many people with that. And also the bleed from the Sin Seeker itself. It's fine. It's not too big of a deal. But yeah, we're going to kill off this dog 10 seconds ahead of schedule, which is fine. Beating this third Vicious Lunge is really good. You could possibly beat that second Vicious Lunge with better with better DPS, but now we get into the important part. So let's talk about these markers, which I think I said I would talk about before, but I haven't talked about till now. So the boss is tanked on Skull. Actually, now that I look back at the video, I hadn't realized this at the time, but the boss is not successfully being tanked on the Skull marker, so that's great. Oh my god. Anyway, he's supposed to be tanked on Skull marker. Then you've got green marker in a line, and then purple, orange, and yellow behind that. And the idea here is to handle the new mythic mechanic. So the Sin Seekers, number 1, they have to be split by players to split the damage. Okay. Once this dog number 2, Bargas, once he comes in though, whenever the Sin Seeker hits a player, it's going to spawn one of the Rip Soul ghosts. This is the tank mechanic, right? It's going to spawn a ghost from the player. The ghost is going to have health that's going to be lower depending on how low the player's health was. That ghost is going to walk towards the boss, and if the ghost reaches the boss, it's going to give the boss a really big damage buff, which mostly definitely means a wipe. So the idea is that you can cheese this with immunities. So you can see the first set of immunities is 2 hunters. I put the 2 hunters first because they have a short cooldown on their immunity. It's a 3 minutes immunity. So they can actually do it for the 4th set as well. Then we got a hunter and a mage. They're fire mages, so they can't cheese it. Ice block doesn't come back fast enough. A frost mage could. With cold snap, they could do 2 sets. Then we've got a paladin, and the paladin is supposed to bop the warlock. So that's another set of soaks. Might be simpler to have, like, just call it the bop set, because we have 2 paladins, but like, this is the bop set, this is like the actual paladin set. A little bit awkward because one of our paladins is the tank, but could be doable. But the idea with this is that these markers go onto the green world marker, right? So the immunities go to the green world marker. Because the boss is at Skull, he shoots a Sin Seeker at star, orange, and purple, it's going to go through all 3 of those Sin Seekers will hit the 2 players at green, right? So the 2 players at green are going to help soak the star. They're going to help soak orange. They're going to help soak purple. But because they're immune, they're not going to take any damage. They're not going to get a bleed. And the ghost that they spawn is going to be basically full health. So just by walking through the healing rain, it will essentially get healed up, or just some random AoE heal bouncing around will heal the ghost to full, and you don't even have to worry about it. The only thing you have to worry about is the ghost coming from back here. But, you know, with a minor defensive and 2 people soaking, they'll survive the Sin Seeker just fine. So you'll see it coming up soon. See it coming up soon. This is the normal Rip Soul, by the way. This is the normal Rip Soul. So he targets the tank. The tanks just move him off to the side. Doesn't really matter where. You can see it here in the boss frame. That needs to be healed up. It's pulsing ray damage, so that needs to be quickly healed up. And you're good, right? And you're good. Okay, so we got the first Sin Seeker coming in. Actually, this is also worth mentioning. You also have these shades of Barghast. So these are these ghosts that the second dog spawns in. You should aim to get 2 sets of these. And you should aim here. You can see the timer for the second set. You should be aiming to use... I brought 2 Death Knights to this fight specifically for this. It's going to be very hard if you only have 1 Death Knight. It's going to be very hard if you know Death Knights. I think if you only have 1 Death Knight, the best thing to do is when you want to kill them about 10 seconds before the next shade, or when they have around about 20 stacks of a debuff. You probably want to have 1 Death Knight grip. If you only have 1 DK, grip one of the shades onto the other one, have everyone run over and kill the shades, then switch back to boss. Because we have 2 DKs, it's very, very easy. And like they're the best DPS back in the game, pretty much, in holy DKs. So they can just grip 1 dog each in on top of the boss, and you just AoE everything down together and get really efficient damage. You need to CC them. We have hunters and druids assigned to it. If you have 2 mages, each mage could polymorph 1. That's fine as well. They just need to keep it CC'd, and they build up stacks when they're CC'd. So you don't even need to worry about it, and just don't be dumb in terms of hitting them with AoE things that will break them out. Don't put dots on them, that sort of thing, right? Here we go. So this is the next set of Sin Seekers. Perfect. So I'm actually going to get this. So again, this one, the 2 hunters are going to immune over here. You can actually see them. They're already in position. There they go. There go the turtles. And the Sin Seekers are coming out. We go to a markers. Defensive. I've popped Dispersion. Cool. Look at that. Almost no damage taken. If I pause it right here, you can see these ghosts coming in from the 2 hunters, from all the things they soaked. Super easy to heal those up. Our ghosts, again, are not going to be too bad. They're going to be healed up, and it's going to be very stress-free. You can pull the boss away from Skull Marker just to create some more space there. Give some time to heal up the ghosts. And then it's just important to reset him afterwards. And yeah, you can see this can be kind of bad. If you pull the boss down, but people don't move down with it, then it's very easy to clump up for the spread shot, which does a lot of damage, right? It does a lot of damage. So here we are. We should be gripping in the shades like now. There we go, about 20 stacks. A little bit slow, but that's okay. So they are gripped in, and you see these shades are going to absolutely melt. Also coincides with that second Rip Soul, so you can grip them in and kill them while the Rip Soul is going on. So those ads just get destroyed. Don't need to worry about it too much. They're dead. It's all good. CC the next set. And you're going to have to deal with the next set in phase 3, basically. Here comes the next set of Sin Seekers. So this should be a hunter and a mage. They actually mess this up a little bit. So they go out to their markers. There we go. Except here's one of the problems. Let me actually turn on the volume, and you guys can hear me giving out. Move them away. You can't be that close. You have to be in green marker. So you produce a ghost when you soak it, and you're dropping that ghost onto boss. You just buff. Yeah, so as you can see, like, I'm giving out to the mage player because he immuned it right beside the boss, which meant the ghost spawned right beside the boss and instantly went, and one of them reached the boss and buffed him. The boss now has 25% damage done increase for a minute. For 1 minute, the boss, this mythic boss, is doing 25% more damage. That is not good. So that is why it's important to actually be on the markers. That's why the markers are where they are. You could technically have green and skull a little bit closer together, but he was like almost right on top of skull. Not so good. For this final dog is very easy. Let's actually see if we can get there we go. So there's the cast. So as you can see, what this does is it puts this big circle around, it's going to target 3 players at a time. Big circle, drop it at the edge of the room, leave the pool. Simple, easy peasy. Because I think I say like, oh shit or something. Oh shit. Oh shit. So why am I saying oh shit? Because at this point, we're gripping in these dogs, right? If you leave the dog alive for too long, they become immune to CC, and you're pretty much screwed. So you need to grip them in. The reason I'm saying, oh shit, is I'm saying Death Knights, go grip them in. But the Death Knights both got, at the same time, they both got the circle that they need to drop out at the edge of the room. Now, it shouldn't be too bad. What they should do is just grip the dog in and then run out. Yeah, you can see that. And then get out. Yeah, and keep these. Yeah, get them in and get out. You can see there's a huge, huge disaster. Like, this is literally the worst. Watch this again. This is probably the worst possible thing you can do. So they go, number one, he walks too close to the dog, doesn't grip it properly. So watch this. Watch this. This is a big mistake. So he grips in the dog, then he pulls it backwards with Abomination Limb, or he tries to walk back in. He didn't see. I don't know what he did, but this is a huge mistake. Drops the pool right in here. Why is this so bad? This is super dangerous because, again, what is one of the core mechanics of the fight? One of the core mechanics of the fight is the boss is on Skull. Everyone is spread around Skull to spread and split the spread shot damage so people can't get hit. Now there's a gigantic pool blocking half of Skull, which means that instead of being able to spread around the entirety of the boss, we can now only spread around like 60% of the boss. You know, like that's 40 to 50% of the sort of the radius around the boss or whatever, the area around the boss that's been taken up by this pool. I think if you were like absolute god tier, like mega brain players, you could in your head move the boss over and still line up these marks, but that's not feasibly something that you're actually going to be able to do. It's just not going to be practical. So it means you have to keep the boss on Skull because you have to immune the things on green and you have to drop the things on the markers. It's very, very specific positioning. Like, yeah, unless you are the best players in the world, I don't think you're on the fly going to be able to mentally readjust and get it right. It's just not possible. So this is so bad. It's so bad. So this really, this is like a whole bunch of extra damage. On top of the fact that, so number one, now the boss is doing 25% more damage, okay? And now we're also clumped up for the spread shot. So it's making the fight a lot more difficult than it needs to be. This dog also almost survives. Look at this though. Last second, clutch blind. Well played, Zeb on the rogue. That's actually really good. Here we have Sin Seekers coming out. So we get two people one shot here. See, the third guy survived. So this was the immunities. If we rewind it slightly, you can see this is what can happen. Okay. Sorry that the video quality is a little bit low. Would you guys recommend any graphics cards? Like what do you guys think about graphics cards? I know that my processor probably it would be a bit of a bottleneck, but I don't know if upping my graphics card would help. But I do want to upgrade like the quality of the videos. I think it's more of a processor issue, to be honest, which is harder. Excuse me. I think it's harder to fix. WoW is a processor intensive game. You can see stuff kind of gets blurry with the encoding here. I think that is when like the processor gets stressed with WoW. Anyway, that's kind of beside the point here. But look, the Sin Seeker is targeting Melindius Thessia. That's fine. But it's targeting Cresher. Cresher is assigned as an immunity on this set of Sin Seekers. What the hell do we do? It's actually relatively simple what you do. It's relatively simple. Okay. Situation number one. You got two people immune to assigned to immune it on green, and you get the three people going to the markers. That's situation one. Totally fine. You've got two soaks for each single one. A minor defensive, even no defensive you could probably get away with. You're going to be okay. They're not going to take all that much damage. Everything is cool. This situation is situation number two, which is one person who's supposed to be immuning this has had to run away. They've got Sin Seeker themselves. They have to go drop it at the marker. So they should just use their immunity. They should just use Turtle or Ice Block or Bop or whatever D-Shield on their marker. That's totally cool. But it means that for the other two players, they're only going to have one person helping to soak at green. So they're going to take a pretty big hit. So they do need a defensive to survive. And then situation number three is, the most unlikely, but and arguably the worst one, which is both the players assigned to immune actually get targeted by the Sin Seeker. What do you do in that circumstance? Well, those two players go, they immune it at their mark. And then the third player is just going to get killed. They're just going to die over there. There's nothing they can do about it. You're just going to have to battle res them. It's going to have to battle res them. In this case, as you see, this goes out. We only have one immunity. He does bop the Warlock, which is perfect. So that's fine. These two guys die. Again, I'm going to be relatively harsh here. and call these guys out. I'm going to do an entire video, guys, on defensives. We're going to have a whole deep dive into defensives because it is really important. If we look over here, this is the priest. I'm like, you're not calling people out for being vindictive or whatever. It's just good to see. So we're looking for desperate prayer. And there we go. 340, right? Perfect. Bang on. Use this defensive. He still died. Why? Well, number one, the boss has 25% damage increase from previously, so that sucks. Number two, he's a priest. Tough luck priest, right? Holy and disc priest, tough luck. You only have desperate prayer. Hi, I'm a shadow priest. I have desperate prayer. I also have dispersion. That's a 75% damage reduction. Great, but you guys are screwed. You guys, holy and disc priests, have the worst defensive cooldowns in the entire game. He's just dead. Might have lived. In fact, we can check that. Would he have lived? Maybe he would have lived. Maybe. He was overkilled. He was overkilled by 4,000. So yeah, if the boss hadn't been buffed by the mage messing up earlier, yeah, he actually would have lived. Just about. He actually just about would have lived, despite having the worst defensive in the entire game. So that just shows you would be fine. Why did the druid die? Because of this. Barkskin, he used Barkskin on the first one, went bear form for something else, and then after knowing that these two buttons existed at the start of the fight, he forgot about them for the part where it actually mattered and got one shot. So that is not so good. It's tough love, right? I'm giving tough love raid leader. That's what's happening here. You can see these ghosts. It's a little bit messy. Come drop these things out. At this point of the fight, you're actually through the hardest part, right? You've dealt with the 2 adds from phase number 2. You've had your 3 sets of immunities. You can use the first set of immunities if you're hunters. If they've got the short immunity, they can do another immunity on the 4th set. I think realistically, you should be able to just kill the boss and let people die. This is where stuff sort of goes to shit for us a little bit. I'm going to show you the voice comms in a second, but let's just watch it through without those voice comms first. So this third dog, basically, the first mechanic is those pools. That is exceptionally easy to deal with. You get the pool, just walk out, drop it at the edge of the room. Super easy, super easy. The other thing he does is that whenever he builds up these stacks, you drop the stacks by moving him, and those stacks do a lot of raid damage, so it's just a lot of incoming raid damage for the healers to heal through. It's actually fairly tough. There's a lot of healing required, but it's not something that most players need to worry about. Just, use your health stones, health pots, use defensives as is appropriate to sort of help out in that circumstance. You see the healers there are struggling a little bit. We have the final set of Sin Seekers there. So there they are. They're going out with the Sin Seekers. You can see the 2 hunters are in position to immune it. I think the boss might be slightly mispositioned or something. It looks like one of the players got hit anyway, but the other one survived, so that's fine. We lost one player. That is unfortunate. But yeah, not too bad. The Sin Seeker then resets when you kill the last dog. This set, you want to just go out and die. This is my personal favorite part of the fight. Personal favorite part. So watch it again. I feel like, when I'm watching this back, I think, the thing I can think of, look at this. It's like, I feel like this, it's Liam Neeson from Taken. I'm like, what have I done to this player's family? What have I done? He's just there. And I'm like, drop it off, die solo. He walks out. I walk to the side. Everything is good. And then it's like, I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you. I will kill you. Comes, boom, taken out. Liam Neeson coming to get you. And then obviously the boss gets super buffed here and everyone starts dying. Obviously, the same thing remains true. I don't know why the boss is over here. The boss should, again, this pool should not be here. The boss should still be on Skull. Everyone should still be spread as normal. The markers with their Sin Seekers should still go to their markers, and they'll just die this time. You're not going to have a 5th set of immunities. Like maybe if you had 2 hunters here, if you have 4 hunters, then possibly the other set of hunters could immune it with Turtle. That's probably unlikely. You're better off just having those people die. Again, you still spawn a ghost if you die, and that ghost is really, really, really hard to heal. So, the boss is almost dead. It's cool. Just run away. Run away and die far away. Don't Liam Neeson one of your teammates. Go die far away. At the markers, preferably at the wall. And then the tank, you just do it the exact same as you do before. the ghosts are coming from all the way back there. Tanks can just pull the boss slowly towards blue to pull them away. I guess that's what they're doing. Like, did we start out near Skull? No, we start out in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, they're in the wrong position. But the other thing I want to focus on here is let's listen in on the voice comms, because I'm probably going to give out to the guys about this, or maybe I'll link them the video and they can see. But I think I really suggest, watch like some army guys or something. Like doing, I think there was a great video which was like two military guys doing like the bomb defusal game, like there's some bomb defusal game, and just the quality of communicating is really interesting. Let's listen into this though. We're gonna be resetting the dog stacks. Listen to some of the chaos that comes in here. Around the boss.
I'm gonna have turtle back for next sin seekers.
Yeah. That's why I have you guys there.
I can immune as well if needed.
So this is fine. That's actually pretty good. Though the demon hunter shouldn't immune, because the demon hunter will get the bleed, I'm pretty sure, and die. And north will be fine. Let's get those circles out. So this is fine. In like 8 seconds. Let's turn it up. There's health stones here, guys. Stay. Help the healers top you up.
You have a rest right now. I can go
Get the sin seekers out. This is the 2 hunters immuning. Perfect. Well done, guys. Healers, top up those souls.
Don't get it to me.
Top up
get
the
it on the healer.
souls.
Don't get it on the healer.
Now stay spread, guys. These spread shots are hitting hard.
What are you doing?
Just run away and die with these. Run away and die.
Solo.
Run away and die. So yeah, I think someone left a comment on the video saying, Nubkeks, I'm so impressed how calm you stayed at the end right there. And I'm reading that going like, I'm not calm. I'm super raging. Like, this is extremely frustrating for me. But I mean, the point I want to make is like coming up there at the end, the comms are so cluttered. You got people talking about nothing. So again, like criticism where criticism unfortunately is due. We have the druid who died from not using a defensive like he should. And then he's having this big discussion in voice chat. This is one of the first times we're in this phase, in phase 3. This is important. This is where you focus up and you're calling things that are important, like saying, I have an immunity, I can soak this. Concise tactical contributions to the fight. That's the most valuable thing you can do. Having this big discussion, this elongated discussion about where a battle res is going or should go, that's not important at that particular time. You can wait on that sort of stuff and then say it when there is a free moment. You're not gonna, you don't want to be having a discussion about something while the raid is trying to coordinate, movement or tactics or something like that. That is actually important. That's really, really bad. And then again, the priest jumping in and starting to complain about, no, take the battle res, I want the innervate, and shouting that over tactical discussions is really, really bad form. It's like what you're essentially doing when you do something like that is you're taking a boss which is like a 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 difficulty, and you're cranking that up to like a 6 or 7. You're like doubling the difficulty for what's going on, because you're making people, you're putting more information. You're forcing people to have to concentrate to sift through what is important information or what isn't. And it leads to chaos in a way that's very unhelpful. So it's really important when you're doing your own writing stuff not to do that, Like, if you have something you need to communicate with the team, that's good. It's normally good to, call for innervate. That's normally pretty good. But, do it calmly. Do it where there's space for it to be done. And then recognize the priority of some calls. Like, okay, if something really important, like if the tank is about to die and the tank is like, I need pain suppression now, otherwise it's going to be a wipe, then you okay, totally fine. That's allowed. That is fine. But something like getting an innervate isn't too important. So yeah, and I think that's part of the chaos. That's why Liam Neeson came out and murdered me, partly as well, I think, was that chaos that is being unnecessarily created. So that is something to really focus on. So there you go, guys. Look, this has been a long video. I've been very, very, very critical about this one because I think it might be also useful. Look at all these stacks on the boss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ghosts have reached the boss. 6 ghosts have reached the boss. This is a culmination of this pool being absolutely where it 100 million% should not be. Therefore, the boss being in the wrong position, people dying because they didn't use their defensives properly, and then cluttering the voice comms so that people can't actually hear what they're supposed to do with the Sin Seekers. And the calls by, I think there was me and one of the officers were calling, solo the thing, go and die solo, go far. But there's other people filling those voice comms, overriding that, people get confused. They don't know where to go. They're dying close to the boss. The boss gets buffed up. And you can see that it, a few people making a few small, not even small. I'd actually say, considering these, I consider those very large mistakes. A few people making a few very, very big mistakes, like really basic mistakes, can turn a very easy fight into a very difficult fight at a rate that you would not believe. So anyway, there you go, guys. I hope that you found that helpful. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a rant. I'm still angry. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.